Dietrich heat cable testing, simplified. Test number 1, conductor resistance test. The factory knows exactly how hard it is to push that electricity through this wire. That measurement is ohms. Each wire has a specific ohm rating from the factory. It's on the tag. This one is 35.5. If it's 10% more or less than the 35.5, that means it's bad. To test it, you need a multimeter set to the ohm setting. You're going to connect each lead to each of the heating leads. We're within 10%. The next test, continuity. This is like an old string and cup telephone. If I were to talk into one side of the cup, you would hear it on the other side of the cup as long as the string is connected. With these two primary leads, you should hear sound because they're connected. My ground wire is not connected. I'll run the continuity test between this lead and the ground. If the meter reads sound between the two, that means there's a break in the insulation between the power lead and the ground. Not good. So to test it, set your meter to continuity and test between the two leads. Your meter should read open loop. If you get a reading like this between the ground and the lead, you have a problem. Make sure you test the continuity between each lead and the ground. You should get open loop on both. Next test, thermostat wire. It also gets a resistance test. The way this works is electricity is sent through one lead all the way down to the sensor and back to the other. The scientists over at Schluter know the rate of electrical transfer at a certain ambient temperature, and they have a graph for that. It's in the book. So when you run your resistance test, that number should match up with whatever the chart says the number would be based on the temperature in the house. The final test, the big test, the full insulation resistance test. It requires a megohm meter. It's a similar test to the resistance that we did earlier, except instead of running a small amount of electricity through it, we're running a lot of electricity through it. 1,000 volts. Now this is just a serious stress test to make sure that once all of this is installed that it's going to handle the voltage and there's no breaks in the insulation of these leads. Under normal load, it'll either be carrying 120 volts or 240 volts depending on the system. We're going to test it with about 10 times that much. Set your megger to 1 kilovolt. That's 1,000. Connect one power lead and one ground. Make sure they're not touching each other. Lock that in for a continuous test and test. You're going to see it's running 1,000 volts, and we're measured at 4,000 ohm. You're looking for this number to begin to drop. If it holds at 4,000, you're good. That electricity is traveling through there, and it's not reading it in the ground. There's no breaks in the insulation. Time to test the other lead. We're good. Now install your wire.